Hi, hello, my name is Carl. I am from Steve's North End Mower Shop. At this time, I'm going to try and give you some insight about lawn mowing and what's out there available from different manufacturers, different features and benefits. Some of the things about buying it from a reputable dealer like ourselves and many others, you have service after the sale. So as you look at mowers, sometimes look beyond saying, well, okay, I'm going to buy a mower, but can I get parts from it? And we've run into this just recently. I just did a chainsaw. It was bought on the internet, and there is no parts available. So, and even in the mower world, we've seen this where you can buy cheaper, but sometimes it's not as serviceable. We're going to take time and show you a little bit about what we have. We have a Toro lineup. These are called the time cutters. In a sense, they're called a time saver, meaning the zero turn market is the future of the mowing and of grass because it saves much more time in mowing grass. Very easy, I think, and I can explain, and we will gladly go over when you come out at Steve's North End Mower Shop, how they function and how they will save you time and some of the benefits. On this one here right now, what we have is a 42-inch cut model using a Briggs & Stratton engine on it, single cylinder overhead valve engine. This is our entry point. Very nice, maybe for people that have the third half acre, do not want to walk behind mower, cannot walk anymore. So that's our entry point at this point with the time cutter. This is what we call a stamp deck, and we're going to go over to the next model here. This is a little larger cut unit, and this is a fabricated deck. It's a heavier gauge steel. It has heavier gauge in the deck itself, has a little higher seat. If you go back and forth, you'll see the seat's a little higher. That has the foot assist to help and raise and lower the deck when you change the height to cut. They do have the anti-scap wheels on it. They do come with warranties, and at Steve's Mower Shop, we handle all warranties in-house. So warranty always, to understand, warranty always stipulates material defect workmanship. And what I try to talk about sometimes with consumers, if you took it home and you ran over a pipe in the ground and bent the blade, that's on you. But if you took it home and you went to start it one day and you pulled up this switch and the switch popped out, that's material defect. Workmanship would be if something actually fell off. We see very little of that because these are very well constructed and very much as far as looked over before they're shipped out. So this is another model that we do bring in at Steve's North End Mower Shop. And some of the other models that we have is what we call the My Ride. And on this one, it's again a little larger in the sense of a cut. It's still a 50-inch cut, but when you sit on it, and okay, it actually has in a system where it actually has a ride where it absorbs the shocks as you go over the yard. It is adjustable for different weight people so that it can be stiffer or hillside mowing. I have a property at my house. When I mow down the hill, I've learned that if you run it a little stiffer, it helps to keep it from bouncing as much. So there is some nice features on this. These have the handles here like all of them do. You bring it in. They're integrated brakes on this model, meaning the brakes go off and on when you bring the handles in and out. Like I said, this has a foot assist, so when you want to change the height to cut, you can help it with your foot on the side. So these are some of the features that we would gladly go over at Steve's Mower Shop, and our sales force can go over all the different benefits to you. Like this will have a twin-cylinder Kawasaki engine on it, where the farm one has a single. Well, what would be the benefit? It'd be noise. It's much smoother running. But again, maybe your yard doesn't necessarily need as big of cut mower, so that may help you decide which model to go with. Also be aware we're an authorized in Kawasaki, Briggs & Stratton, Kohler engines. So again, for warranty needs and parts availability, we do stock many of the parts, even for other brands that may not, whatever models that you have purchased from other shops. Okay, after I have shown you all the different models, right now there is what Toro has done is on select models, an instant $300 rebate. So if you choose certain models, you will get up to $300 off. We do have a limited supply. The parts guy, the sales guy has been in contact with Toro, and it's a supply issue. So what we have right now, we have a good supply, but there's not like an overabundance in there. Some other things, we do have financing available, so if you have that need for that, but there is also, like I say, on select models of the Toro lineup, we have $300 off. So hopefully you can stop out early, because if you wait until we get into the mowing season, these models may not be available. Okay, we have a selection, and we did have the Echo line of trimmers and backpack blowers. Back behind here we have hedge trimmers. We have a backpack blower. There's 3 different sizes that we brought in, and this is the biggest one that Echo makes, and it's called the PB 9010. And it's the biggest and the most powerful out there. There's some features that as you look at backpack blowers, such as this is a spring or an anti-vibration spring on it. These will have chrome cylinders in them. They have a dual air filter. What does that do for you? Because when you blow debris, it creates a lot of dust. So they have a sponge as a pre-cleaner and a paper underneath. That helps protect the engine. You have your throttle hooked up to right on the trigger. So again, much better control with it. It has, on the back end of it, it actually blows cool air over it. So if you're using it in the hot weather, it will help to keep it cool. Many of these guys will use them or in the wintertime, which we didn't have much of, but to blow snow off of. So it's a much light snows, great for doing that for sidewalks and driveways. But with the spring cleanup coming right now, there's different models for the different size yard. Maybe for homeowners, this is our smallest one. Different, as you look into them, they call it CFM, cubic feet per minute. The miles per hour changes by the nozzles. Again, as you purchase something from Steve's Mower Shop, they're fully assembled, they're serviced, we start them up. We do explain to you, give you a little run over of how to start them and how to maintain them. These are 2 handheld blowers that we have brought in. The difference between them is this one's a little smaller unit. This has a chrome cylinder. What does that do? Again, it's much more durable, because these engines are running at some RPMs that are around up to 8,000, 9,000 RPMs. Just to give you an idea, when you look at your cars, sometimes a car going down the highway only runs at about 2,000. These things are, and backpack blowers and trimmers are up into the 5,000 to 7,000 RPM. So these things are much higher RPM, so they have a much more, as we touch about it, and I'm going to go through a little bit with maintenance, so they burn a lot of air and a lot of fuel, so it is important to take care of it, and we'll go through that in a little bit in another segment I have here. Right now we have over here, we have all the battery operated models, and on this model right here, this is the model 2100. And this model, they're offering a free battery when you purchase it. So that's something to be available, and it's a limited time offer. So you might want, if you're looking at cordless or battery operated, that's something to take advantage of. These are just bigger models as you go up. This one here has a ability to change and put different attachments on it. And on the wall off to my right here, there's all kinds of attachments. We're going to show you what's available. From the gas powered also, but this one you can put certain attachments from that instead of just having a trimmer on it. But this is the model that we have, and it has, like I say, it's a nice little unit meant for the homeowner. The battery is in the back. It's really a powerful little thing. Again, it's rechargeable. The thing that else to consider yourself with is, again, if it fails, what the warranty is. Who does it? Well, we do it in-house. So if there's a warranty issue, we would do it at Steve's North End Mower Shop. You don't have to send it out or wait a couple weeks to get it figured out if it is under warranty. Here we have one against the wall is what is called PAS, meaning it has different attachments. You have your power source. They come in 2 different size or CC engines, but then you have different attachments. As you can see, we have the string trimmer naturally, but then you can put a circular saw. You have a articulating hedge trimmer or a straight cut hedge trimmer, a chainsaw extended on a boom. You have a power blower, and you have an edger, and you have what they call a redefiner and a tiller. I'm not sure if you can see, the tiller's way in the corner, but multiple attachments. Many times in the homeowner market, we're trying to, okay, we want to edge the sidewalk, but we still want to trim. But we have bushes way up in the air. We have either one of those hedge trimmers, but then you can add a little extension onto it. Where you have low-lying limbs, you can do that with a chainsaw. So this is a feature where it's multitasking, and it's a very useful product, again, for Mr. Homeowner or Mrs. Homeowner that has many different needs in their world instead of just one dedicated trimmer. So that's not new. It's been out here for a long time, but it really allows you to be very diversified. And again, at Steve's Mower Shop, we can show you the features and different models and what might work for you and what might be helpful. This is the lineup for this year's ZTX in the Gravely side, and they have somewhat redesigned it. Some of the features that they have added to it. Now, we've had the foot control before, but then we put a pin in here. So when you push the pedal down, you just pull the pin and set your height of cut. So you can actually, on the fly, push the pedal down. If you got to go over a root or a stump, a swale in the yard, you can push it down. When you drop it, it goes right back to the prescribed height. This is a fabricated deck, but if you won't be able to see it too well, but it's a sloping front end. The idea is that as the grass gets pushed down, it allows the grass to recurve instead of a straight down deck. So that's something new they did for on the Gravely side this year. These are reinforced in here as far as the caster wheels. It's box tubing. So as you look around, be careful because some units will have what we call C channels, so it's open underneath. The other thing that we have is a stepping on here that you can get on the mower. You're not going to be able to see it, but there's a rub rail on the left side when you trim, so it helps prevent from rubbing into the shrubbery or the bushes and stuff like that. On each wheel, on these caster wheels, they're somewhat protected, so they're not exposed out by themselves. So if you do miscalculate and hit something, it helps to protect the mower deck. They've added a little tool compartment underneath here. This lifts up. It has access to the tool compartment. That just slaps down. This is also adjustable, so you can adjust the pitch in and out and up and down. These have parking brakes integrated in also, so you don't have a separate parking brake, but these have armrests built into it. It is using a Kawasaki engine, which is, like I say, a very durable, quite powerful engine. They have a high back seat. Again, when you're mowing on hillsides, it's much nicer when you have a higher back seat when you're going up and down hills, especially going down up a hill. These do have a hitch availability. The lights are integrated into it. This year they added the lights right onto it, so they come on. They are part of the package. It's no longer an add-on. I know there's little things. If you can see, the tires are very aggressive type tires that they've added for this year. Some of the other things, like I said, on the gas on here, it's on an angle, so it's a lot easier to access. So that's some of the things that we've done. The seat lifts up. It's not, you won't be able to see it, but the battery is right here for accessibility. Serviceability on a Zero Turn is much, because you have your fuel filter, air filter, oil is right in this little compartment. Some of the other advantages of a Zero Turn, and this is in general talking, the noise and the heat's behind you, easy access, you can see where you're going. Trimming is so much more maneuverable with a Zero Turn than you would with any tractor. And the tractor has the engine up front. You get a lot more heat coming back on you. You're going to save time in mowing grass, and the quality of cut of grass is so much better on a Zero Turn. You know, if you're sort of apprehensive, stop out. We'll have something you can test ride, stop on out, and we'll gladly go through and show you some of the techniques. There is some techniques, but that's in a few minutes I can show people, or the salespeople can show people how easy it can run. Yeah, I take a little bit of time, and for those consumers that are really into doing their own thing, and that's fine, you stop out at Steve's Mower Shop. One of the most important things is to bring your own model number so that we can properly get the proper air filters, fuel filters, proper, if it's blades or belts and stuff like that. I'm going to take a couple minutes and just show you some of the things that we see at Steve's Mower Shop that you should be aware of. One is, the main thing is about air filters. This is, and it's hard to see, but it is really completely pleated with dirt. Well, what does that do? That restricts the airflow. This is what it should look like, very white. The dirt isn't packed into here. This came off of a little Toro rotary mower, which is very common on a Briggs & Stratton engine. This is one of the more popular overhead valve engines. There's multiple different air filters out there. But one of the things to be aware of, if this is clogged up, you're going to hard to see, but these plugs are all blackened. So that means the engine's not running as efficiently. It will cause it not to have the power. You'll burn more gas, hence it will not start as easily. And these are things to be aware of. This set of plugs that I just have here are very clean. They're burning. That usually indicates the engine was running very well. Plugs will give us a lot of insight on how performance of an engine is performing. This particular air filter came out of a little trimmer. As you can see, it's very dark and there's a lot of grime on it. This is what it should look like. With restriction of airflow, that cuts down on power. And on a 2-cycle market, it also creates the exhaust where you can clog up the exhaust ports, and again, you will lose power. So these are some of the stuff that as you're doing your own servicing, air filter is real important. Here we have different models or different sizes air filter or fuel filters. In the consumer market, people just grab a fuel filter. We call it microns. This has a larger micron, meaning this is for a gravity feed situation where it would be on a maybe a tractor that doesn't have a fuel pump. This is also for a design. This has a smaller micron, meaning smaller that it won't go through, and that has a fuel pump. So these are directional. And this is a larger one for a larger capacity, but it also has, again, smaller microns, so it will allow less dirt and stuff to go into your carburation. Why do we replace fuel filters? Because again, you're buying the gas, dumping it into a can. From the can, you're dumping it into your lawnmower. More chances of contamination. So fuel filters, air filters, those and spark plugs and oil should be done, on most manuals they'll talk about once a year or 100 hours. In the consumer market, rarely do they reach 100 hours. But when you come in, or if you do your own, going out and just grabbing a fuel filter or not in a proper air filter, you can get the wrong filter that may not be a benefit to you. We touched on a little bit about oil, and we do have Kawasaki oil, and if you do some of your research, they have the small outdoor power industry that is specific for outdoor has zinc in it. If you do the research, zinc is added into the outdoor power mower industry because it will help with temperature. Our lawnmowers will run every bit from 100 to 200 degrees hotter than a car engine does. They have taken the zinc out of the automobile industry because of catalytic converters. But this helps to keep for under pressure more. We have higher grade temperatures in the outdoor power industry because we're an air-cooled engine. Everything is relevant to, again, how your air filter is, your cylinder fins in. So if you start looking around and understanding this is a much better oil for your lawnmower outdoor power equipment. It's not just mowers, pressure washers, lawn mowers and snow blowers or anything like that. I have one more little segment here that we're going to touch on. It was on the blades. We have a blade here that is just worn out, and it's been fractured, and it's very unsafe to run this type of mower. So be aware if you're taking your blades off to be looking for certain things. This one here is also broken, cut, and it's unsafe to run it. And hopefully this one here, if you can see it, it's worn right on the very tip. Here we have many models of echo trimmers that you can choose from. We can help you select why would they have different models. Some has to do with the size of the motor. Some have to do with anti-vibe system built into them. This one here has a curved shaft versus a straight shaft. Well, to me, the straight shaft helps reach underneath things. Some people like that because it's shorter and they feel more comfortable with it. Basically, it's the same engine-wise. It's just a difference of the shaft versus a gearbox. This has, again, a little larger motor on it, and it has an anti-vibe built on it. These are larger motors. These have anti-vibe built into here, so it really does. And they have what we call a speed feed. It's a system where you don't have to take the trimmer head apart to put line on it. So that's been a very user-friendly, so you don't have to take it apart to unwind it and try and re-establish it and stuff like that. Some of the times as people, again, as you look at different models, why would I go with? Because these will put blades on them, and if I'm trying to put a blade on it, that model might be better with a little bit more power to cut down small trees, and that's what we have in the back there as far as you can put a blade on it to cut trees down or shrubbery and stuff like that versus this lightweight unit. But that's designed for Mr. Homeowner that's just trying to trim his backyard of 3 acres or 2 acres. But as we get into a heavier, when I say heavier, bigger motor, more power, and that's where you get into, these have bigger CC motors. I'll touch a little bit about, we use the Red Armor oil, and as far as mixing it, it has a detergent in it and has been very successful. This is a 50-to-1 ratio, and we use this in our mowers or trimmers today, and we are using what we would like to recommend is a higher octane. If you want to go higher octane is better for the trimmer market, especially not the mower market, but in the trimmer market. You want to get 89 or higher, and mixing this helps to keep it cleaner and longevity. It has a fuel stabilizer built into it, so when we highly recommend the Echo, but with red armor. And it does seem, even in my own experience from as a household, I have many different trimmers and chainsaws. It helps because it seems to keep them running better, and it also tends to start easier when I haven't been sitting for a couple months. So that's something that we do. We have it in 1 gallon mixes or 2.5 gallon mixes. So I just thought I'd explain why would I use my oil versus something that you buy at a box store. Here we have the lineup with, again, we sell the Echo line. Been a very good product. Many of the models have a 2-year warranty, but we have the mini tiller, and this has been very successful for the consumers that have what we call raised beds, very small flower beds, or gardening today. With all the price of the food going up, you may want to get into your own vegetable garden, but it has a nice little kickstand. We have a handle to grab it. It can hang up on the wall. It uses the great Echo engine. Nice little tiller, works real efficient. I have one at home because I have a small garden, and it really does cut down on the weeding time. You can get in between the rows and stuff like that. So something to consider. Again, they come fully assembled to you. We will gas it. We will explain a little bit about how to maintain it and go from there. Here we're just going to touch on many different models of chainsaws. There's just, each one has a bigger motor. These are called handheld. This one is unique because it's a battery operated, and the battery sits here. This is still a top handle, really light, very compact. They have another chainsaw with a battery pack, a little larger if you're more into serious of cutting wood and you want to cut up bigger pieces of wood. So it is a battery packed unit available. All the saws that we have, again, we will carry accessories such as the chains. We will give you good, as far as maintenance of how to maintain them, how to use them. Sometimes when consumers, first when they purchase them, not aware about, when you're in the chainsaw world, you have to make sure you don't touch the ground, because if you touch the ground, the chain will get dull instant. Read articles that a chain will travel in 1 second 6 to 10 times around in 1 second. So that means whatever you hit until you react is maybe 5 to 10 seconds, so it's dull. So just to be aware of how quickly a chain travels at. And there's just different models. This is our real little one. This is really the smallest thing that we have, the lightest that's out there. But each model has features, bigger motors, different that way, bigger for somebody that's cutting down. And with all the ash trees that are falling, this is a time of the year that maybe you want to get out there before they still fall down and hit your house or your car, or you're out in the yard at the wrong time. So this is the time of year to go out and check the chainsaw market and cut them down. What we have here is a lineup of Toro rotary mowers. Rotary being the blade turns, and we call them rotary mowers. Push mowers, some are self-propelled. Different. We have this one here is a self-propelled with what is called a personal pace. You squeeze the bale down, you pull the rope. As you slide this down, the further down it goes, the faster you travel. Hence, that's why it's called personal pace. The bag can be taken off. There's a blue knob there to go from bagging to mulching. It has individual wheel height adjustments. So this, and it now has larger tires on the back, and it also are rubber tires instead of plastic. So this is a model that we did bring in. It is really limited. Toro is not able to produce what, as a dealer, needs to be done. This is their electric model, or battery operated. This is also self-propelled. So it has a 60-volt battery. It is a bagger and mulcher. It comes with, again, it'll come fully assembled. On our mowers, when we leave, the mowers are always out of the box. We assemble them, we oil them, start them up, show you, and load them up into your car and make your life easier. So all you have to do when you leave here at Steve's Mower Shop is to go home and mow grass. The one we have on the far side here is a smaller, it's 20-inch cut, but it's a single speed instead of a barrel speed, but it's a little less money. It still has the bag on it, and it still can be made into a mulcher. And you have squeeze the bale down, that makes the engine start. Squeeze this one up, makes it drive. Maybe the yard isn't big enough, or you're not wanting all the features, and this is a 20-inch cut versus 22. So that's another model that we brought in at Steve's Mower Shop. And the far one is just a simple push mower. Somebody that doesn't want self-propelled, want to keep it simple, and that again comes with a bag on it. And many mowers out there don't have bags on them. So if you're needed in the fall of the year for cleaning up leaves or the grass gets ahead of you, that mower has a bag with it. And it's a 20-inch push on that. We have a couple mowers that we have brought outside because they are very large. This being a 60-inch cut, this will be in stock with we'll bring it in with a 60 and a 52. But this one here being an HD, they call it HD, it is still graded as a homeowner because it does not have what they call a ROPS, rollover protection. Can be added, but they tried to keep it under so it does not need it, and that way it comes into a different classification. But it has all the features of a commercial grade, meaning serviceable pumps, wheel motors. If you really, again, as you do your specifications, these have filters on the hydraulic pumps, so every so many 100 hours you replace the filters, no different than you do on a car transmission. So that's a feature, so it's more durable. This is what we call the X-Factor deck, and you'll see that the deck is slanted. Again, remember on the mower inside, it helps to allow the grass to get bent and stand back up before the blades catch it. Some of the other features that we have is the seat's adjustable in and out. Really our higher back seat is here. The gas tank is over here. I think this one will have a 5-gallon gas tank. This one has rubber mat that's an accessory, but the nice feature here, you can lift this up and it makes it accessible to clean it out, blow it out so that the grass and the debris does not build up underneath the deck. So when we bring them in, that's part of what you do when servicing, taking the side covers off on many of them. Well, on this model, you don't even need to because it's so accessible, you can blow them out. This just latches, you just lift this up and it drops down. Again, the height of cut is done with a foot and raising and lowering. You push your foot on the pedal and select to whatever height you want it to go at. This has 1/4-inch increments. This will latch in what we call the transportation mode. So when you push it all the way down, it latches in the upgraded height of cut. The seat is adjustable, but it does lift up. And again, underneath here is one tank, and it's very centered so we don't have issues for gravity on hillside mowing. We have what we call expansion tanks, but what I'm trying to show is each wheel motor and pump are not integrated, they are separate. So if there is a failure, one pump doesn't cause the other pump to get contaminated. This has little rubber isolators. Again, Gravely offers a lot. What does the isolators do? It cuts down on the vibration going down as you're mowing across the yard. You can see it's powered with a Kawasaki engine, and this is great because it's a very durable, been time-proven engine. It has ability to put a hitch on the back if you so desire. So these are very well built machines. Again, with the warranties that Gravely offers, stop on out, we'll gladly show them to you. Back here we have the Toro, and this is the Z Master. This is one of their largest units that they build. This even has, now in this seat, it has a dialing system that you can change the height of your cut, or not the height of your cut, but the height of the seat, so it can change the different weight of different people sitting on it. The same thing applies. They have different pins for different height of cut. You have a foot control on here. This also has ability access panel that reach in here to clean out any debris and stuff like that over the period of time of cutting it. They use this one here as an EFI engine, meaning electronic fuel injection. Why we're going that way? 2 reasons. One is it's less problems with the gas today, with the ethanol gas. And the other thing, it creates better life as far as engine life, but it also keeps the gas mileage better. I mean, if you're talking about gas consumption. So that helps you if you're really mowing commercially, that may be a big factor because of how much gas it will use. But it also has a better, what do you want to say, band of power. It's much more sensitive. This one also has what we call the fabricated deck. They run a bull nose on the front, so it's really reinforced. So if you do run into something, it will not bend underneath. You can see the large tires on the back. We have a dual canister. This is what they call the ROPS, rollover protection, but it can be turned down. So if you're mowing on flat areas and you're worried about hitting the trees, this will drop down, so it's make it much more safer to mow underneath trees and stuff like that. Gas tank is here, and again, it's centrally located, so you don't have to worry about hillsides, mowing on hillsides, so it's more centrally making it better balanced on the mower. This is ultimately is one of the nicest machines out there. This one also has a feature right now that on the, I gotta read on the Z Masters, this will have a up to a $750 rebate on this model, on select models. So I have to be careful which model and stuff like that. But this will offer a rebate at Steve's Mower Shop, and it's done in-house. We don't have to mail something in or stuff like that. But this is called the ProMaster Z4000. And like I said, it has the ZT 5400 transmissions. They're built by Hydro Gear. And like I said before, they're not integrated like the old ones were integrated. So if one transmission failed, sometimes it led to the other one. These are isolated, so you don't have that cross-contamination, as it's called. Again, there's many specifications. You need to stop out. Somebody here at the sales force can go over them to you. Financing would be available. So hopefully this has been educational. I like to say, with all the different stuff we touch at Steve's North End Mower Shop, stop out, see our website. We have a website that you can see about any new products that might be coming, or our shop hours. So we have a trained staff. So we've been here. We've actually moved up here in the spring of '69. That's how long we've been up on top of the hill here, Ring and Rocks Hill. So hopefully, thank you very much for your time.